Welcome back to the bed saga. So what have I decided to do? So it's the next evening and I've been working on this for a while. What I decided to do was use this bed. The best I can tell, this is a 51 or 52. I don't know if I get this to focus or not. It's a little dark out here. And at a glance, you know, it's real similar to a 53 to 6 and up. The fenders are mounted a little different in the later beds, but the beds are, I think, the same. So I did a little research last night, and dimensionally the bed is, although it says it's an 1/8 of an inch different in length, tailgate width is the same, and most of the key areas are the same. So I looked online and I was kind of just looking on Craigslist to see if there was a bed, and you know, I just didn't really have it in me to go spend $500 for a junk bed that somebody thought was super nice, and you know, it's beat to death, and honestly I just didn't want to spend the money on it. It wasn't that kind of project. So I came back and I said, what's it going to take to make this bed work? So I pulled out a sheet of used plywood to fit the theme, painted it so it would protect it, cut it down to size. I modified the front rail here that is going to receive the front lip of the wood, and I modified this front cross member to fit the frame after, because the holes are in a little different spot. So now I think I've modified enough that I can put the bedwood in this bed, bolt it in around the perimeters, figure out where the cross members go, and get it onto the truck and position it and bolt it down, and at that point then we'll play with the fenders. So that's kind of the progress so far. I didn't film much of it because I was really just trying to see if it was going to work, but I think it's going to work. If I get this piece of wood in tonight, it's getting kind of late, then I'll take a little short video of it and show you what it looks like, and then we'll just keep on keeping on. Well, welcome back. I decided to come out in the daylight and film a little bit about kind of the progress of the bed, and both A, we have daylight, and B, I have a little kind of clarity of my direction here. So last night I didn't film a ton because I really was just trying to solution what it is I'm doing here and figure out how I want to do it, and keeping the goal in mind of moving this thing forward without it turning into, you know, a project that is not what my scope was, which, you know, the plan was put all these parts together and make a vehicle. It wasn't to restore it. So last night I took a sheet of 3/4 inch plywood that I had, and it was painted on one side, so I used that as the bottom, and on the top I painted it and sealed it and cut it down to size to fit. It's going to be just a little bit narrow on each side because the bed is a little wider than the sheet by just a little, but it's going to be fine. And I started kind of mapping out where it was I needed to fix the metal. What do I need to do? The overall bed is about the right dimension. I think I stated that earlier. So I put a replacement angle up at that front of the bed there where the gloves are, and that is the front lip that the floor sits on, and then the cross members will go along the middle of this floor. The back area here would have had a lip on it, which I could put a lip on it of a light angle, but I can do that later. Probably what I'll do is put 3 or 4 through bolts through there to fasten it down, and then I'm going to go ahead and do the 7 or 8 bolts along the front that attach it, and then we'll position the cross members where they go and measure them off of the frame and do some of that kind of stuff. Kind of prep it for actually setting it on the truck. I don't see anything that is going to trip me up along that part. Got some couple brackets to move on the truck, which are noted 100 times. Got a couple holes to drill in the back of the frame where we shortened it, and then this should, with a couple cross members added in as they need to be, and the bed sides pulled together as they're bowed out a little bit, then we should be able to put the bolts down the sides, bolt the cross members in. That will pull the floor super flat, and for the most part it'll be ready to flip over and get it onto the truck. That'll be a big accomplishment. The next piece will then be, let's get some fenders to fit, and that'll be a little bit of a puzzle there. Going to put the running boards on and make sure the running boards fit up against the bottom of the bed. I'm not positive I won't have to modify this little sail panel here. This little piece here, I don't know if you can see. This piece, I'm not positive I can't tell because I don't have anything to measure off of, and the running board mounted on the running board brackets is too floppy to get a good measurement from, so screw it. I'm just going to put it on and then work it from there and get the fit right. It's really critical that the tail end of the running board, this piece over here, right here, that piece meet up with the bed appropriately, and that the fender is placed correctly on the side of the bed to meet the back of the running board. If those are in the right place, the bed's going to look right, and so ultimately when you're all done, it should be fine. So we're going to do it that way. I'm not going to try to position the fenders on the bed while it's off. It might be a little bit easier, but I don't know that's really going to be easier. It's probably just as easy on the truck, and that way we guarantee that it actually looks like what it's supposed to versus something somebody stuffed on an S10 chassis with the hopes that it wouldn't go like. So that's the plan. Progress is, slower. I was hoping that this would be one of those famous last words, quick parts of the project, and it would be basically bolted on already, and this would have been quick video that was easy to execute. And like most of this stuff, when you're building something this way, it never worked out the way you planned. So it didn't work out like I planned, so we modified the plan. Let's look at the progress on the bed. This is night 3, so I've spent quite a bit of time on it. Here's the ugly side. What have I got accomplished? Well, the wood is in. The cross members are straightened and bolted in. The front cross member is bolted in. We go around to the inside. The header up there, see, I don't know if you can really even see it. The header up there is sealed up, and I think it's more or less tight now. It should work. It's not perfect, but it's perfect for what we're doing here. The wood is all in and secure. I may go in and do a little bit more once it's on the truck, but we'll wait and see at that point. On the truck, I've moved the two front brackets so they're down lower. I've put the two holes in the back of the frame so that the bed can attach back there. And I think what I'm going to try to do, just because I want to get it accomplished, is I'm going to see if I can get the bed set on the frame, just on the frame. That's all. So let me drill 4 more holes in the cross members for the through bolts, and then what the heck, we'll put it on the frame. Bring you right back. Well, I'm going to wrap up this video showing you the bed on the truck. Pretty dark out here. I'll get the light, give it a little more light. Here it is sitting on the truck. Matches the rest of the truck pretty closely. All looks pretty equally as worn and torn and tattered. The bed is sitting on the mounts as it should. The front bolt holes have bolts in it. The rear bolt holes have bolts in them, so they all line up as it should. The next piece will be to really put the middle bolts in the bed and tighten everything down, and take a little assessment of how the running boards are going to fit and what does that look like. Gaps look good, bed looks right. I mean, overall I think it's going to be great. So we took a bed that wasn't even from this truck, wasn't even from a truck like this, but it was close. At least it was a Ford, and dimensionally close enough, and we converted it, fixed it up enough to make it work. It's gonna fill the bill just fine. It's got a floor if I want to toss something in it, if I go to swap meet in it, so good enough. We'll play a little more with getting the bed mounted and get everything tightened down, and kind of address all of those bolt holes and miscellaneous things. And the next piece will be to bolt those running boards on and get that whatever happens here, right here at this area, we'll have to see what that's going to look like. Who knows what kind of, how far off that is. That's going to be the next piece that could have some issues. But overall, I'm super happy. It was some work to get it to this stage. I'm glad the truck's one step closer to looking like a truck and being a truck. So I'm Clay for Chop Shop Motors, and we'll see you on the next project.